Can you believe that a small collection of bedtime stories about a boy and his stuffed animals grew into one of the most powerful and recognizable franchises in the world? And that a huge part of the transformation came because one business decided to step in. The story of Winnie the Pooh is not just about imagination, it's also about unique storytelling and corporate strategy, all combined to create a global empire. Let's take a deep dive and say happy birthday to 100 years of Winnie the Pooh. Before Pooh even existed, the world had gone through a great tragedy, the World War. A. Milne served in the war, and like many others, he came back deeply affected. After seeing conflict and hardship, he turned towards writing something softer, something more genuine, stories that focused on peace, friendship, and small, ordinary adventures. That emotional shift is a big reason Pooh feels so calm and comforting. The name Winnie actually came from a real bear named Winnipeg that was at the London Zoo. But while the fictional Christopher Robin became beloved, the real one struggled. As he grew older, he disliked the attention and resented how his childhood had turned into a public story, a public spectacle, as he would like to call it. He later spoke openly about how uncomfortable the fame had made him. It was because these books became instant classics almost immediately, and that was all because of the illustrations by E.H. Shepard. Pooh at this stage was a gentle, slow, thoughtful, very different than the energetic, chaotic character we see in today's Disney universe. The popularity of the characters spread throughout the UK, Europe, and the United States. Everyone was reading Winnie the Pooh. It became a fun story at bedtime where parents would read to their children the adventures of Christopher Robin with his stuffed animal friends. Children everywhere adored Winnie the Pooh, and that's when one man took notice that would change the face of Winnie the Pooh and the stories forever. That man would be Walt Disney and the Walt Disney Company. Disney was seeking the rights to Winnie the Pooh as early as 1938, but the deal wouldn't finalize until the 1960s, well after AI had passed away. Disney saw so much potential with the production of movies, television, shorts, everything and anything you can imagine. Walt Disney saw potential in Winnie the Pooh, and the Disney company would truly change it forever. This layer gave Disney control over the unique merchandising and marketing aspects of Winnie the Pooh. Disney would make a series of agreements starting in 1961 to the rights holders of AA's estate as well as the licensing agent. It wasn't about making cartoons. It was turning Winnie the Pooh into a long-term multimedia brand. Disney just didn't adapt Pooh from the stories. They redesigned him, starting with Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree. Disney would make several major changes to the character. Pooh would become brighter. Instead of the natural teddy bear color, he wore the now iconic red shirt. Stories became more comedic and fast paced, and the music and songs were added to increase appeal. Some critics felt that it was a disservice to the stories, as many thought the stories had deeper themes, but Pooh became much more accessible to global audiences, especially young children, being not only on television, but in everything and anything they would look at. And Disney wouldn't stop at one short film. They would carefully build Pooh into a long running entertainment brand. The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, which would come long after the passing of Walt Disney, was a package of featured short films put together to create one. And then the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh would come and bring Pooh back on the television, as well as many other spin off movies, as well as other Winnie the Pooh television shows and shorts coming to things like the Disney Channel, Toon Disney, and other areas. Winnie the Pooh even made his debut in the parks. He would become a favorite meet and greet character for both parents and children alike. Pooh was everyone's favorite. Yes, the television and the movies and being in the parks was true magic for the Pooh character. It expanded the brand further than anyone could ever imagine. But Disney didn't just recognize Pooh was a character, He was the perfect product. Unlike action heavy characters, Pooh appealed strongly to very young children as well as families. That made him ideal for plush toys, baby clothes, nursery decorations, books, and learning projects. Everything and anything could have Winnie the Pooh's face on it. This meant Disney had a marketing and merchandising machine with the Winnie the Pooh characters. By the late 20th century, Winnie the Pooh was generating billions of dollars in merchandise, and he would often rival Mickey Mouse. This is why Pooh is often described as less of a film franchise and more of a merchandising empire. If you remember the 90s, every grandparent owned some sort of Winnie the Pooh clothing. The massive success of Winnie the Pooh would also lead to legal disputes. With the licensing agent that Disney was involved with, they would have long term legal battles over royalties and rights. These disputes would be just a piece of what would happen with the Winnie the Pooh control of the character over the years. But Disney would remain front of line, protecting their iconic design of Winnie the Pooh. Disney's distribution power is what made it key and unique. Pooh became a worldwide symbol under the Disney branding without his iconic red shirt. This critical design change is also what has protected Winnie the Pooh for the IP of Disney over the past years. As Winnie the Pooh, the book character, has become public domain, as many know, after a certain amount of time in the United States, books and other pieces of art become public domain for free use. But because of Disney's redesign of Winnie the Pooh, it's helped protect the character as well as his forest friends. So you could say Disney redesigning Winnie the Pooh and creating their own iconic character has actually helped protect the character's integrity and the character's brand over the past few decades. There is no doubt in my mind that Winnie the Pooh is the most iconic character to not be owned originally by Disney. For 100 years, Winnie the Pooh has become part of American culture and culture across the world. There is no doubt that this character will continue on for another 100 years. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate all of you. Believable Truths.